Hi, good evening, good night, everybody. Daniel Spat from California. In English tonight is a very special time because technically our guest is in Melbourne, Australia, Olga, and we're gonna have this special time with a very talented coach. She's in Melbourne, as I said, from Belarus, former college player, WTA player, and I was really attracted with her style of coaching, and I think it's important to support Olga tennis. There you go. You are there. I'm gonna give you the Kalodzitsa. There you go. You are on. And we are on time. Thank you so much. Olga, hi.
Hi. Hi, how are you? Let me just clear my camera a bit.
You look really good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you. Sorry, 1 second.
It's fine. Take your time. How are you?
All good, thank you. How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing great. Here is 9 p.m. Tuesday, and it's 2 p.m.
And
Wednesday for you, right?
We are in the future in Australia.
Wow. It's a pleasure having you. And as I was announcing, I felt really attracted by the way you were coaching, and not because, not just because of the colorful, the music, the content.
Oh, thank you.
But very good, very specific, simple, easy to understand. You have so many followers. For how long have you been in Instagram?
I've been active on Instagram for over 2 years. 2 years. I haven't been active before that. I was not really a social media person before, and not really now, but I know people value the advice, and I decided before I used to live in US, and I was very busy and popular, and then I met my husband and we moved, and I decided to, okay, nobody knows about me. We're like in Australia, so I have to create something that people would get to know me better. Whether in New York, I was fully booked. I didn't need an introduction because I just, didn't have a need for that. And so I decided to do something with my page, and it started 2 years ago. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, tell us about your beginnings in tennis. Where are you from? Where are you born?
I'm from Belarus. I was born near the border of Poland in the city of Brest. And then when I was growing up, I moved to the capital and started to practice there with some of the players who are playing now, like Alexandra Sosnovich and some other girls on the tour. They're still playing. So yeah, I'm from Belarus.
Why tennis in your life?
Oh, that's an interesting story. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a dancer, and so my mom went with me to the kind of tryouts for the dancing band, and I got my friend to go with me, and we both got in, and I didn't go through. They didn't accept me because I couldn't do my legs like this. I couldn't put them like that. So I was not flexible enough for that type of dancing. And I was crying, and I was just, I was fully in tears. I was really mad that I brought my friend who actually got in. And that's how my life has changed. We went through the park and we saw an advertisement about for tennis. And my mom was like, "What about tennis? Let's just give it a try." I'm like, "Okay." I was so upset that I would just agree to anything, and that's my mom brought me to tennis lesson, and I loved it since then.
Fantastic. Sisters, brothers?
Yes, I'm coming from a big family. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother.
Tennis players too, or not tennis?
No, nobody's tennis. Nobody plays tennis, but my dad is a cyclist, and my mom used to be she used to swim. So I'm coming kind of from a sports background, and my brother is doing rowing now.
And how old you were, Olga, when you realized I can be good in tennis?
You know, when I started to play, I started really recreational, like recreational tennis. I played like twice a week, and it really was nothing really special. It was just getting to know tennis, and I started almost at 10 years old. So I started very late compared to what players now. You know, they start from 5 or 6 years old. I started late, but I fell in love with the game so much that I started after like 10 years since I was like 10. I started to practice more and more on my own. I played with the wall. I played twice a day with some players, and then I told my parents, yeah, I really want to play, and they kind of started to invest in me. I tried to play and do some fitness, and so I kind of build on hours I worked. You know, I started to play more. I started to work out more, and by 14 I was already like, I don't know, number 7 in Europe, under 16 years old. So, but
Wow.
it's only hard work, you know. It was nothing really magical. I was not super talented. I just work hard. That's all.
But what was your main virtue, your main strength as a player?
As a player, I'm a pretty an aggressive player. I think my forehand, I've always been aggressive. My serve, I can place it really well. I wouldn't say it was the most powerful on the tour and when I played, but it was pretty solid. Yeah, serve and forehand, I would say, aggressive style.
Any idols growing up?
Oh, of course, from the men's side, it was Federer and always kind of be. It was really amazing to see his style, his sportsmanship on the court. I always liked Williams' style, aggressive, Serena Williams. But I was not really idolizing anyone and never did. I don't have, like, if you would ask me what is your favorite player, I would not tell you. Like, I like them, but or like favorite movie, I was never like into the favorite kind of stuff. Um, but I did admire the Williams and Federer.
Um, Olga, so you play WTA, right? Do you have
I
a?
used to play TF and a little bit of WTA, yes, before I went to college.
Okay, so all girls, boys dream about. I want to be professional. Um, is that life that nice that it looks, or from outside, or not really? That the glamour, you know what I mean? The all we think and visualize. This is Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, it's not as nice as from what you can see and from outside. Of course, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of traveling involved, a lot of sacrifice. You know, you basically living a different completely life. You have to watch your bed routine. You have to watch what you're eating. You have to prepare for the matches before. You have to plan ahead. You have to practice long hours. You know, it's not an easy task for anyone, you know. So I wouldn't say it's what you expect, but once you're in, you know, and you have the dream and on becoming something or someone, and you want to achieve a certain level, you know, you're going for it and you kind of ready to sacrifice for it. So but it's not an easy as you know, as from like as you can see, like that glamour. It's not. Unfortunately, it's a different life we
And
have.
how about the money? Because people think that everybody makes a lot of money. You guys are rich.
Or unfortunately, when you're starting out, you're only spending money and you barely make any, especially on a level on a lower level tournament. Because when you see the $10,000 prize money, you only get, I don't know how much is it now, but I used to be like over $3,000 for
Oh,
a winner, for a winner, for a winner. So it's not as much. You spend so much for tickets. Let's say you're going to Brazil, from flying from Belarus, you're only paying for a ticket, which is like what, over $1,000 there and back. Then you pay accommodation. Then you have to have a coach, uh, or you're paying your coach in your own country, or doesn't matter. Travel involves money as well, you know, and they're amazing players from all over the world, even in that $10,000 tournament. And in order to win that, you have to be like really the best, and you're not winning much. So in the beginning, it's very hard to make money. You're spending a lot, and you know, you have to believe, coaches have to believe, you know, before you show something, you have to spend a lot. Unfortunately, that's the truth of it. Unless you have a good sponsorship and someone is helping you out, that's can be easy. easier a bit.
Yeah, recently we heard a story from Pam Shriver. I don't know if you read it. The issues she has with her coach. And it's something very controversial. It's been one of the stories on the WTA. What is your take about it? Because so many parents are scared of having their children travel with girls with a male coach. What is your opinion about it?
Well, I would probably, you have to have some sort of team. Let's say if you're traveling from, let's say, Belarus, I would send my kid if there would be some group of people. I would probably not send one-on-one, even though as a young player I used to travel with my coach as well, and he was young, and I was traveling. You have to have trust relationship with the coach, and it's you can't predict what's going to happen. It's hard. It's a hard question, but I remember when we used to travel with the groups of people. Some parents were there, some coaches were there. I used to travel by myself a lot since when I was how old, 13 and a half, 14, alone. Like I didn't have anyone. I was traveling to a different country. I was finding hotel on my own. Why? To save money, because my parents were working and I had other siblings as well to worry about. And you just in order to go for more tournaments, I had to save some money, and I was going to some of the tournaments on my own, like Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, all these little countries around the Belarus area. I used to go on my own. Poland, just to save money. So it's a hard question. I don't know. I grew up very independent, so it's kind of was easier for my parents to send me because they know they could trust me. But it's a risk as well. So I don't know. It's a hard question, Daniel. I don't know.
Fine. Yeah. Whatever. This is what I was asking for your opinion.
Yeah.
Olga, why you stopped playing professional and decided to play college in the USA? What happened?
As many players you've talked to, and my story is not different. Unfortunately, I got a shoulder injury. I got rotator cuff injury, and I couldn't lift my arm for a long time. I was recovering from it for some time, and I didn't do a surgery, but I did have some injections, steroids injections, which helped me. But when I started to play, I couldn't really go on my serve 100%. It was like I always had that in the back of my mind that I had an injury, and if I would go for too much, it might hurt even more. So I kind of went downhill. I had some, I lost a lot of matches, where I was kind of not supposed to. I could have maybe play better if I wouldn't have that injury, but we don't say maybe. It just happened, and it happened for a reason. And then I was a little bit struggling, and plus financially, it's a lot of money it takes for you in the beginning. Even though I was playing for a team of Belarus at some stage, and they were helping me out with some financial stuff, but it's not fully covered. They were paying, let's say, for accommodation, but I had to pay for the traveling, or they were paying for food and stuff like that, but it was not fully covered. So it's a lot of money, and you have to travel basically at least once a month, or maybe sometimes 2 weeks you're in, 2 weeks, it's the schedule. So it's pretty intense in terms of traveling, and it all requires money. So and I got a lot of offers from colleges at that point. I had ITF ranking, I had points in WTA. I was only 19, and then I thought of my family, and I thought it would be a good idea to get education, and see how I go there. Maybe I would continue playing afterwards. I was just had that thought that maybe a little bit later I'll still play pro. Even though I really wanted to play pro, I didn't agree to. I didn't go to many. I didn't want to go to colleges in the beginning because I thought I'm gonna go and play pro, but that injury happened, and it was kind of slow recovery, and then I really did consider to go to college. So I went to college in US, and that's how it went because of the injury, unfortunately.
How do you explain people who doesn't know, when you were professional and you apply to college or you get an offer, how is the scholarship things going? You could still get a scholarship?
Yeah, I could get scholarship, but it's also getting trickier because if you have some WTA points or you played pro, I used to play for a German club. They paid some money. It wasn't very much money, but still, they were paying me for games. And US, I don't know, they used to have that policy where if you played a pro, or, and I also was already in college in Belarus for 2 years at that stage. And if you, so you might be not eligible to play for the for the US college. So first I signed up in D1 in Atlanta, Georgia. It was Georgia. I kind of accepted, and I got all the papers signed. And then when I was about to go, they told me I was not eligible. And I'm like, wow, this is, I already kind of was ready. I was not ready for a long, long time, and now I'm ready to go, and I was not eligible. And I was really shocked. And I have only, like, because I was already almost 20, I had only 3 years of eligibility to play, you know, to get the scholarship. So the assistant coach from that university, I got accepted first, recommended me the other university, D2, in Savannah, Georgia. And she said that they might be able to take you. The coach is great there. They're number one in the nation. The team is great. And I'm like, because it was within state and the time was, we were running out of time. The coach looked me up and he gave me an offer, and, you know, I accepted because I had no other choice. And plus it was a great team. And I got very lucky to be on that team. And with that coach, I don't know if you heard, Simon Arsho was our coach, who was a great coach in the NCAA. He was like one of the best. So it was great. So that's how I went to college in D2, because I was not eligible in D1 because I had points and I was already in college. So something went wrong, and yeah.
And when the coach was born, I mean, when Olga's coach started, after, of course, after college, right? When you...
Yeah, so right after college, I was so exhausted. My team was like very intense. We were number one in the nation. We won almost everything. We didn't lose any match. We only lost like one match in the final. It was also a tie match. So I went to national championships. We were in the finals in the third one. Very intense training, but I'm not regretting. I never practiced so hard in my life, even when I was a pro. Like it was intense. And so the coach gave us a lot of conditioning. We had gym every day. We had tennis every day. On the weekend we would play, and you have to combine all of this with studying. It's hard. And I had an international economics degree I chose, so it was a lot of work. And because I had three years of eligibility, I took six classes. People take 4. I used to take 6, which is intense. And plus combined with the work you do on a tennis court, so it was kind of hard. You know, yeah.
No, but I ask you, where the coach, when you started feeling I want to coach?
After, right. So I started to coach right after
But
college.
why you coach?
Why? Because so first I was thinking that I'm gonna be in a business profession. I always wanted to have my own business. Didn't know exactly what it would be. So I've tried to apply to some finance stuff, and I did get an offer, but I had to do a lot of you know, trial periods. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And I couldn't really sit in the office space because I was used to practice twice a day. It's very hard for someone who is an athlete. So I was like, okay, let me try coaching. And I used to have some experience before that, but I didn't really fully coach at that time. So I started to look for jobs, and I got accepted into one job in New York City. I was in one of the premier clubs in Manhattan. And right away, I think I had something. I had a passion for it. People loved me, and I grew right away, basically. By the end of the year, I was fully booked. I taught 10, 11 hours straight. I became head coach from assistant to a head coach within a year. So basically, right after college, I started to teach.
And what preparation you had to become a coach?
To become a coach? Yeah, so I studied sport and physical education in school in Belarus. So I had already a little bit of sports background. My dad was a coach as well, so he taught me a lot of stuff. And but he was in cycling. But you know, it's sports. It's you know, so he gave me a lot of insights. And then I did the USPTA course and some training outside as well. with the USTA. And so, yeah, and that's how I got USPTA certified, and some courses with the USPTA as well.
What are you doing in Australia right now? Why Australia?
So I was living in New York, taught there for a while,
Yeah.
and my husband there, who is Australian, and
Wait, is
so
he a coach, tennis coach too?
no,
Ah.
completely out of sports, but yeah. So we met there, we stayed there for a while, then we moved to Miami for a bit when I knew that I'm gonna change my, but then once we know we move into Australia, we went to Miami, and I was waiting for my visa to get
Mm.
approved, because it's a long process. They told us it's from 7 to 18 months. And so we decided to move and enjoy a little bit life. And it was actually around the COVID times. So we got lucky that we moved out of New York at that time, so we could enjoy the view and ocean. And at that time I had a little baby. So it was,
Nice.
yeah, so it was good move. So we stayed in Miami for like around 8 months before moving to Melbourne, to Australia.
To Melbourne. So you are in the Australian Open land.
Right. Yes. Yes. So so this is my second year. I've been going to Australia.
Wow.
Um, met a lot of nice players who I used to play and practice with. Some of them from Belarus, some from other countries. Because a
Nice.
lot of players are still playing who we used to play with. You know,
What names? Give people who like to know some names.
Alexandra Krunic, Alexandra Sasnovic, Elina Svitolina. You know, I used to play with her as well. Somebody was asking me if I'm Australian citizen. I'm not. I'm a permanent resident here in Australia.
Perfect.
Somebody
Yeah,
asking me.
your husband is Australian.
My husband is Australian, so I'm in 2.5 years I can apply for the
Yeah,
citizenship.
but it's okay. It's fine. Look, where those wonderful reels and ideas come from?
Well, teaching style is mine. I like to kind of point it out some points so it's easier to understand. I'm very structured, and trying to make it easy and valuable at the same time. Like my dad used to say, you have to be able to explain with the minimal words, and so the people, and especially young students, can understand you. You don't have
Perfect.
to tell them the book style of how it's done. Sometimes it's not about biomechanics of the in the easier way to explain to students, but so they can get it. So I'm trying to kind of simplify, the tennis stroke or something,
Yes.
so the people can understand, and kind of easy and simple. Regarding the reels creating, I'm still learning. I'm not that.
Who is videotaping you?
I'm doing it myself. I'm just have the tripod, and that's it. No,
Wow,
I
nice.
have no help. My husband is at work all the time. I have babies in between, so I'm pretty
So
busy. But
you do the editing, everything.
I do everything. Yes, and
Wow, it's
still learn.
fantastic.
I'm still learning. I'm not as good as some people here,
But
but
listen, today, Olga, I made a post on Facebook and Instagram about all these wonderful TikTok, spectacular magic drills. At the end of the day, I mean, if you don't get the ball in play, honey, you're not going to win.
that's right.
So, in my philosophy of teaching, we should keep things simple. And this is
Correct.
what I like, your simplicity. Do the forehand like this, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to make it simple for players to understand, and I love that I try to teach in a short period of time. I cut all this, I'm trying to teach basically within short period of time. When student is coming to me, I'm really trying to get straight to the point where I can teach them, and they be able to rally. Maybe it's not the perfect yet, but show them the basic right
Perfect.
away, like that.
What?
So this is
Oh,
my style.
excellent. Olga, what is the most difficult thing of playing tennis?
The most difficult, I think it's combining, incorporating conditioning, fitness, and the mental part with the tennis game. I think this is the really hard part, because when you play tennis and you think you kind of perfected your game, but if you're not there in the right time, you can't execute your technique and right shot. You're going to be stretched to the ball, so you can't really plan strategy if you're not fast enough on the court, or if your reaction is slow. Or let's say mental part is so important, because let's say you're winning, you're 40-30 up and you need a good serve, but you're shaking, you can't serve, and then all of a sudden you're giving the points away. So I think combining fitness, tennis, and mental part in one, that's the hardest part to me. I think after 13 years old, it's become even more mental. I think before that, you don't think about it, but once you actually starting to understand a bit the game, it becomes mental. So I think mental part of tennis is one of the important ones, especially when you're competing.
And Olga, to wrap up this wonderful talk, be ready to give advices. First to parents of junior players. That we see crazy people hanging on the fence, yelling, screaming, putting a lot of pressure. What advice you will offer to them, the parents of the junior players?
Well, encourage, support. You have to listen to your child sometimes people, kids are telling them something but they don't listen. It's all about also intuition. You have to listen like to your own body. The parents should listen to their kids sometimes in their and I wouldn't say you can't really push the kids. It's not you have to listen and encourage and be able to motivate them if they're into it, but you don't have to push them if they're not into it. And like everyone is asking me, oh, you have little one, you have a kid, are you going to be able to teach your own child tennis, and you're going to push them? I'm not going to push them. I'm going to introduce them to tennis. I'm going to try to support them, and I'm going to encourage it to go further if I see that the kid is into it. But to push your own child to the extent where you care more than they are, I think it's waste of time, because eventually the kid is going to say, especially at the age of 13, 14, when they're growing up, and that kind of teenager years when they started to have their own opinion, they're going to say, you know what, that I'm done, and all your money, all your efforts are going to be kind of wasted. So instead of...
Sorry, I want to have a question.
Yeah.
How old, because I get this question very often from parents.
Yes.
Daniel, how old my kid should be to start taking tennis lessons, my little ones? What is the youngest that you recommend a parent to put the kids in a tennis lesson?
Look, the age where they can have some sort of focus, I would think it's around 4 years old. I had kids who are 3, but you don't teach them really tennis skills. You teach them just to become aware of tennis balls. You're introducing them to tennis racket, but it's not really teaching yet. I think around 4 years old, they're developing some sort of short-term focus, and they kind of can perceive just for a short period of time. So it has to be quick. It has to be, so you have to switch really quickly when you're teaching in terms of drills and stuff. And you don't have to start at 4. You can work with your kids on your own. You don't have to really take lessons. If you're ready and willing, and the kid is responding to you, and you can throw the ball to them, or you can catch, throw, around this level, you can do some lessons with your own child without the coach. But I think around 4 years old, this is the age where you can start introducing them to tennis. Early on, yes, but it's not going to be like tennis, like people would imagine now. Tennis.
Correct.
I think 4 years old where they start developing.
Okay. How long the length of the lesson, Olga? How long should be in that age?
30, younger ones, 30 minutes.
Private or group lesson?
Honestly, from what I can see, let's say if I'm trying to if you want to have a little bit more understanding to the game, not just fun part of it, I would always start with few lessons private to get to so because it's more attention to the child, they can understand a little bit, and then add the groups. So you invest a little bit in private lessons. It could be 3, 4, it could be 10 lessons, and then add the groups lessons. I think it's the best you can give to your kids. Not groups right away. Groups are okay, they're great, but I would have a little, I think it's important to have to understand, to get them a little bit more to understand what I'm telling them to do. But the groups are definitely helping as well. They're more fun. The privates, I think it's a little bit more personal, and you're gonna get the skills a little bit faster.
Fantastic. What a parent should take into account when choosing a tennis coach for their kids, little ones? Because sometimes here, some of the parents, Olga, they take into account only how much they charge. You know, they go for the cheapest or the nearest their house. You know, they don't find out exactly. They don't do the research about what elements the parents should take into account when choosing a tennis coach.
I think coach has to be passionate, attentive to each child, because I take my son to lessons right now, to soccer. They're all fun. I mean, he's little, but attention to the with the coach is very little. I think it's very important that the coach spends, even if it's 2 minutes, even if it's 3 minutes, with each child individually, comes, shows them. So if they have that kind of care about each child and attentive to each child, so they have to show them the technique, whatever they show in technique, to each child individually. Of course, you're showing as a whole group, but at the same time, if they spend time with little one, with each child for even a short period of time, that's great. Of course, training. I mean, I think it's important so the person who is coaching knows something about tennis, because a lot of coaches are really self-taught. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a different type of coaching, you know, and you might learn the wrong way right away.
How about credentials?
I think it's important, but it's also doesn't mean much as well. So it's important, but at the same time, it's not all about.
What is more important, credentials or experience?
I would say experience, but look, I think experience is the most important. You can't really, you know, experiences. Yeah. You're learning so much over the years. I'm not the same coach as I started, and you probably not the same as you started. You know, you have so much, and I'm learning from you. You know, and. I'm not the same as I started, let's say 8-10 years ago when I started to teach little ones. So it's different. You're learning, and as a coach, you're learning different kids' psychology. You're different how to, you know, sometimes you have to say something to the child or motivate them, and sometimes you have to say something that it's not true, just to get him motivated. You know, sometimes you have to encourage and say you're doing amazing, even though the kid is not doing amazing. But sometimes, you know, they need to right words. So, and it's all coming from the experienced coach who knows what they're doing, who cares, who is passionate, and who brings it fun, especially to the kids. Fun and teaching incorporate together. I think it's the best you can give to your child.
Fantastic. And a couple more questions, Olga. Now advices to junior players, especially girls who are dreaming 15, 16 to become professional. I see so many videos on Instagram, 13, 14-year-old, 12-year-old girls, 10-year-old girls showing their skills every day. And the parents crazy and putting them in beautiful dresses, outfit, hitting forehands and backhands, looking good, dreaming about getting a sponsor right now. They haven't played yet, but they look like professionals. What advice to the players, to the young, especially girls?
They have to believe, you know, sometimes they have to believe in what they can do, and they have to work hard. So if the child, let's say 13 years old, really believes, and sometimes I thought I believed, and I only started to believe when I was around 13 that I can go, because I saw I saw, but it's not started right away. So sometimes you think you believe, but you're not. Belief is something that really going from inside, belief that can motivate you to get up at 6 a.m. before the school and go for a run. So that belief, motivation, and I think they should believe, even though they sometimes think that not good enough. I think they have to experience that, they have to try, they have to go for it, they have to lose, they have to win. And the least they can say it, they've tried their best, and for some it's going to work out, for some not. But I would definitely recommend and go for it if the parents can support them, and if they love the game and they're passionate about it and they're ready to work hard. I think they should believe and go for it. I think I would suggest them to just to keep going and believe in their skills, and they're going to be able to be on top, because eventually it's those who are like I mean, imagine that. Can you imagine Nadal? Like I'm looking at these professional players, and it just all it takes is that belief, that grind, that that not many players who will have that dedication and and that belief in self and in their abilities eventually will go far.
Okay, Olga, last question is about mental toughness. Can you play in a high level? You know what I'm talking about. Can we teach mental toughness? Can a sports psychologist teach our students to be, or is something that you're born with?
No, I think you definitely can teach. You're not born with that. But also it's important to it's important who you're around with. Who are your coaches? Other coaches motivate you. Are they believing in you? Are they encouraging you?
How about the family?
So important. I think the family you grow up is the first environment for the mental toughness. If the parents always pushing you down, if they say how bad you played, or you didn't do this right, it in subconscious level stays with the kid, and it goes to the tournaments, it goes to the matches. So you have to be, parents, they have to watch what they're saying to their kids. It doesn't mean you have to always say how good and how great the kids are. You have to be tough on them sometimes as well, but you have to watch what you're saying to the kids, because in subconscious levels it does stay, and it does affect their future, their matches, and later on their life. So it starts from the family who are around you. You need to show them love and care and support throughout their tennis journey. And coaches, I think it's a lot of that is coming from coaches. I hear a lot of stories, and a lot of students are coming to me, I had a coach and they're not really happy with me, and he's always pushing me down, and the kid really wants to play, but the coach is not really helping in a mental part. So I think it's also it does really important to have a good coach who can motivate, who can inspire, who can show the way, and so I think it's surrounding.
Okay, here in the USA, you're mentioning coaches. It's very frequent here in California. I live here in California for the past 4 years.
Right.
Most of the kids, they have more than one coach.
That's
I don't know. Is happening also in Australia? Is going on all over the world, or just here in California? Some kids have 3 coaches.
That's interesting. So yeah, I think it's very hard, because everyone has the different perspective of you, and eventually kids will be confused. I'm only here for over a year, and I did experience that as well. So some people go into private lessons to me and to group lessons somewhere else. I mean, part of it I do understand, because I only can teach certain hours myself. I have 2 little babies. I have a toddler, 2.5, and I have recently gave birth to another one, which he's 6 months old. So I'm trying to do my best coaching and teaching coaching and being a good mom at the same time. So I do understand that, but I have a lot of players who are coming to me for private lessons, but they do have coaches and they take in group lessons somewhere else. I don't know if it's common. I'm not long enough here, but I do see it here as well.
Yeah, it's
So
the same, the same. But in
this,
Argentina, it's different in Argentina. And I understand if you can't offer group lessons, of course they have to find players to
yes,
play.
yes,
I understand. But two questions to end, because I love the way you talk and the way you express yourself. $1 million questions both. Number one, Coach Olga, I'm very junior players. I'm very nervous for my match. Can you give me advice?
yes. I like to say I do give that advice a lot. I loved the book I read when I was a junior player, when I had just started out. And the book came up to me, and my parents gave me, I think, this book. It's Winning Ugly by Brad Gilbert. It's nice and simple, an amazing book. I studied by it. I always had it in my bag. I wrote plans based on that book for my matches. I started to analyze matches based on that book, and I learned the tips regarding the how to react when you are nervous.
Wow,
And
nice.
I love the simple advice I give. It's about the breathing. It's it says that you have to breathe through and it's you have to sing a song in your mind to switch your focus and watch the ball closely and read the label of the ball. I love this advice. It's what I would add. It's just when you're nervous, I usually try to, especially, you said before the match, right? Before the match, what technique you're using?
Yeah, I'm nervous. I mean, I don't know. I'm panicking.
So
I'm
from
shaking.
yeah, from my experience, I used to,
What should I do, coach? What should I do? Should I hit
but
hard or should I keep the ball in play?
I should ball and
Okay.
play, because yes, ball consistency will. So first you gotta be consistent before you can increase the pace, because you increasing the pace, you miss, and you're gonna lose your rhythm for another 4 games. So when you lose, and you gotta slow down the pace, make couple balls in, ideally forehands, slow down, get it back. Once you feel it, you can strike and
You're
increase
gonna.
the pace. So
Uh,
I would say right away, slow down the pace, go for high percentage shots, which is what, cross courts, simplify the targets. Don't go for angles. Don't go straight to the close to the line. And when you feel like, oh, this is very important point, and my nerves are coming close to me, turn around, slow down, take a 3 deep breaths, and slow down your breathing. Like really, really slow. This is very important, to slow down your breathing. When you're nervous, your heart rate is going up very quickly. You're like, and at that, in that situation, you're not gonna make right choices. Your decisions are usually very, very stupid. Not like, you wouldn't go for this type of shots when you're not nervous. So in that kind of environment, I would suggest you to slow down the breathing, like really,
Perfect.
really deep breath, like this.
Fantastic.
So yeah, 3 deep breaths to slow you down.
Perfect.
Breathing.
And the last
Yeah.
one to close, I mean, is great. Another problem that players face, Olga, they practice very well. They shine in practice. But then when the match starts, ooh, they sink like a, Titanic.
Right.
So what advice for those players who, they can't perform as good as they practice? What advice to them?
Advice. So it's very interesting, because during the practice, we're playing our best shots, we're doing the drills we like, we're not put in the environment of pressure. So when you come into the court, you all of a sudden you have pressure of winning, losing, of that particular player you play, or we practice against better players, and we turn um, play relaxed, because we know we have no pressure, because they're better, they're older. So you have to practice with the score. So let's say you have to set there's some practices where you practice matches, or score situations where you, let's say, 4-2 down, come back and win a set, or you're 40-15 down. You have to play situations like in real life. How would you play when you're 40-15 down? What type of serve would you serve? You know, you would probably not go for a risky shot. You know, you would create situations that put you in the pressure. As well, it's very important to play. Some players think that they have to practice only best players because you know, that's where they have to reach their potential to play against better players. But I think it's also very important to play against worse players and just somebody around your level, because you need to, you know, learn how to play against different players. Sometimes you underestimate players. You go in on the court, it's like, oh, I know this player. I won against her 6-love, 6-2 last time. And all of a sudden you have trouble and you don't know how to play because you don't practice with the same players or the same level or lower level players, you know?
Fantastic.
Practice, yeah, so it's very important to put yourself in the pressure situation. Yeah.
Even when you do drills, right? Basket, you can create some pressure, right?
Create pressure. Let's say you play in cross-court game. Play cross-court game, let's say put the doubles alleys out, or play with doubles alley, a little bit bigger court, play cross-court game up to 11. You know, so create some sort of competitiveness, or create, let's say, a situation where you encourage the player go to the net and you give them 2 points. Let's say player who goes to the net and wins the points at the net takes 2 points. So stuff like that. So you're creating the pressure, you're creating the situations where they feel that they can do something. And it's also important to for the players to focus not only on winning or losing, but focus on what's their plan, actually, to actually teach them how to plan and strategize. And when you have that mentality of planning, okay, I'm going to do, if the score is tied, I'm going to the body because this is my safe serve. Okay, and they're not thinking how to win. They know that what they should do. Score is tied, I'm going for a less risky shot, let's say to body, serve body. This is just an example. You know, it's about what you're focusing on and not how you're winning or losing. Eventually you will win if you follow your right strategy and your right plan.
So, and really, we can talk about hours, our passion.
Right, that's right.
And what I see, and honestly, I want to close this with this last question. Always in my interview, I say last question, and I do 25 more questions. No, seriously, because it's late. Perfectionism. What would you tell a kid who gets very frustrated and upset in practice when they make errors? What advice to them?
We all do make errors, and I would never go for perfection. There's no perfection in tennis. We all do miss, and it's okay to miss. I sometimes telling my players, you're allowed to miss now. And I'm allowing them to miss out. Ideally, I said no mistakes at the net. Sometimes I want the freedom in their arms, and I want them to strike hard and fluid, and relaxed. And I'm telling them, hit out. Go for it. Don't be afraid during the practice, because it's practice, and you're never gonna learn if you're not gonna make mistakes. If you're gonna be afraid to miss, you're tight. Your muscles are tight, and you're not gonna be able to play freely. So it's not good to always be perfect. I think it's okay to miss, and based on our mistakes we learn and grow. So it's okay. I would not go for perfection in my practices, so it's all right. I'm always telling them, and I'm always kind of on more mental side and supportive side, and trying to motivate player, not rather than discourage with this is not good enough, this is not good enough. So that's my philosophy. Encourage, inspire, motivate, even if they at this point not enough yet.
Olga, thank you so much. You gave us an amazing inside information. Beautiful. I had a wonderful time. I knew that was going to be good.
Oh, thank you so much, Daniel. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you. I know you interviewed so many great players, and from the top WTA, top ATP players, amazing coaches around the world. I'm still watching them sometimes on your YouTube channel. It's amazing. It's great that you are bringing this into the tennis community.
Thank you. You're now in this wonderful list. By the way, how many languages you speak?
Well, not that many. I speak speak English, Belarusian. I understand a little bit of Polish, and I do speak, I mean, tiny bit of Spanish. I used to study Spanish when I was in.
Do you understand some of the interviews in Spanish that I do, or
A
not really?
Not much, not much. My Spanish got way worse, but I used to study in Spain after my college. I actually have minor in Spanish, but it's bad. I'm not as good as I should be. But as you know, you should practice more. Maybe I should practice my Spanish more because I love the language. I think it's very beautiful language, and I did study in Seville in Spain. I took an
Oh,
intense.
nice. Now, and
Yeah,
now we are in touch, so you should learn Spanish.
I should
See,
definitely.
I'm speaking English to you, so you should learn
That's
Spanish.
right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So
your favorite city to travel?
favorite city to travel. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I haven't been travel for a while, you know.
But if you
But
have to choose with your husband a place to go on vacation, where would you go?
I would go to Europe, to Portugal. I love
Portugal, okay.
Portugal.
Favorite restaurant that you had? You said, honey, let's go to a restaurant. Which one you choose? Which style of food?
I love Italian food. I love Italian food, and I forgot the name. It's in New York City. We used to go
Okay.
to in New York City where we used to live. Here I haven't explored much yet. I mean, still going to some places, still have to learn. But I would choose a New York restaurant in Italian food.
And the last one, tennis match in TV or Netflix?
Tennis match. Tennis match.
How about your husband?
My husband, Netflix for sure.
So you have two TVs.
Yeah, well, sometimes he kind of forced into tennis when the Australian Open was on, when we have like so tennis is on and he's kind of watching with me. We did watch some men's finals just in Australian Open till 2 a.m. He stayed up with me, you know, we did watch, so it's awesome.
Okay. The best
So
the best female player that you have seen in your life and the best male player. And that's it. I let you go and I go to sleep.
all right, that's a good question.
The best. Choose one boy and one girl.
From nowadays, or just
No. For the favorite for you, the all-time favorite. One woman, one man.
Serena Williams and Roger Federer.
Perfect. That's it.
Yeah.
Olga, thank you so much. Hi to your husband and the little ones for me.
Thank you.
Big kiss. Appreciate your time, your support, and stay in touch. We're gonna keep in touch.
I hope it was good and you did.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
I told you 30 minutes, 45. We have almost 1 hour, so that was good. I have so much fun. Thank you so much, Olga, and I'm gonna upload it in my YouTube channel in the next few days.
Excellent.
In the meantime, you can share it in your profile because it's gonna be in Instagram.
Oh, so you're gonna post it and I'll share my screen.
Yes, absolutely, right, of course.
Will do. I hope it's gonna be useful to some of the players.
Of course, it is. It is very useful.
I hope so.
Take care.
Well, Danny, much for having me. Have a good night.
My pleasure, and you have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Take care. Bye everybody. Good night. Bye bye.